And a very good morning. It's 11 o'clock, and that means it's time for Drive Time Radio. A very good morning to you. Get a chance to hang out here for about an hour or so. Talk about cars. Talk about what's going on in the world of cars. Lots of stuff to talk about this week. So we're glad that you're along for the ride. Very busy week in the automotive world. See if I can get all the lights going here that I want to get going. Trying to find the right lighting combination. I mean, let's see if this works. I liked it the other way better. How's that? I mean, I don't, I'm trying to light up the world here, I guess. And the reality is that I'm trying to light up the path in front of me. Anyway, it's been a crazy kind of week, as you probably are aware of. A couple of deaths in the news that I don't know why we always key in on the dead people. I mean, I guess we should key in on the live people, right? But remembrances of a couple of great people have passed this week. We will, a little bit later in the show, pay tribute to what many people say is the greatest player of all time. I don't know how you put Willie Mays, Roberto Clemente, and Babe Ruth. Well, Mays. Anyway, I don't want to get into a long baseball conversation, but Willie Mays passed away this week at the age of 93, and Willie was just such an influence on me growing up and my very young baseball career. I mean, it was really Willie Mays and Mickey Mantle that I grew up with, that I learned about, especially Willie Mays. We were a National League house, which meant that we had no team when I was first starting to get into baseball. My grandfather, on my mother's side, Parr, used to watch the Yankee games. And so I would go upstairs and watch Yankee games with him. But my father hated the Yankees. He was a Brooklyn Dodger fan. And he also didn't like Willie Mays all that much. But Willie Mays was kind of different. He transcended the hate in many ways. Now, I don't say my father hated Willie Mays because of his skin color or anything like that. He just hated him because he was a Giant. And the Dodgers and the Giants were rivals. Two major league teams playing in the same city. And at that time, nobody wore a hat that was half Dodgers and half Giants. You were either a Giants fan or a Dodgers fan or a Yankees fan. So we'll pay tribute to Willie Mays a little later in the show. I dug up some old stuff that I thought would, it's one of those places where the things I love intersect. I love cars. I love baseball. And today we find one of these places where cars and baseball intersect. I got some good news items for you that we need to let you know about. The top 5 will come up in just a second. First, I want to let you know that the show is sponsored by my good friend George Jackson. GJ Promo, GeorgeJacksonPromo.com. If you need promotional items for your business, anything from keychains and things like that. I don't know if the people give them out. Those little drives that you plug into the computer, all that kind of stuff. Up to athletic, if you have an athletic department, you need to find, you're over at Seattle University. You say, we're going to do a giveaway. George is the guy. George is the guy. George Jackson, not only is he a good friend and a good man, he gets the job done. You need T-shirts, whatever you need. George is the guy you call on his personal. It's not a computer. You don't go online. You talk to George. And you You talk to George and you say, George, I need a T-shirt. It needs to look like this. I'll send you the logo, the this, to that. George calls you back and says, okay, I can do it. This is how much it's going to be. Thank you very much. I guarantee you that he says thank you with every order. I don't know if that's something that happens online all the time. So George Jackson, you can find him on the internet. Just search out gjpromo.com or GJ Promo on Facebook, and you'll be able to find him. Please, help. George supports the show. Please help. Please support George. Now, let me do one more thing here before we jump into the. I was busy editing the feature that we're going to use in today's show. And so I just noticed here 2 seconds ago that I didn't have my microphone plugged in. And people will often tell you in this business that you need to plug your microphone in. So I wanted to make sure I gave you the benefit of having this beautiful Shure microphone that I paid beaucoup bucks for. And, you can't be a podcaster these days without having a microphone right up there with you. Anyway. All right. Let's talk about a few things that are going on in the automotive world this week. Lots of news around cars. I think one of the stories that has been bouncing around is about the fate of Fisker, the electric car company. We've talked about them many times before. I drove a Fisker, the original Fisker, the first time it went out of business a long time ago. Heinrich Fisker had resurrected the company. They tried to do it by parceling out, sending out different parts to get assembled. And anyway, it didn't work. I don't know what's going to happen to Fisker. I just read an internet post by John Volker. I believe John's with the Car Connection, if I'm not mistaken. And John happens to be testing a Fisker this week. As a matter of fact, he says it's, and this is a weird business sometimes. John is driving that car, and the car company goes out of business. But John did say in the internet post, the Facebook post that he wrote, that it was actually a pretty good car, except there was a lot of bugs that they had to work at. That's part of the problem with the electric car scene with some of these new manufacturers, is that there were bugs that they had to work out of the car, the software, the this, the that. Again, eerily similar to the 10s and the 20s in the 20th century, where there were car companies all over the place. Anybody who made carriages probably started making cars. And there were a lot of different companies that had to, find their way, and a lot of them went out of business. I mean, I don't know what the exact number is, but I can tell you, if you look around 1920, 21, 22, 100 years ago, there was probably 30 car companies out there. You could go buy a car from 30 different manufacturers. By 1930, there were a lot less. Names like Rio and LaSalle might have still been around because that became part of General Motors. But there were several names of different car companies that went by the wayside. Everybody was trying to find their way. Now, part of it was the Depression. Part of it was that motoring had not quite yet become accessible to everybody. Just like electric cars haven't quite yet become accessible to everybody. So sad to see Fisker go. I don't know. Heinrich Fisker, the guy that is behind this company, is a gifted automotive designer. And the car looks good. I saw one in person at a car show. at a show, but had not driven the newer version. I had driven the old Fisker, as I said before, up at an IMPA event a few years ago, and was actually very impressed with it. The looks, I thought that they were going to beat the crap out of Tesla, but that was not to be. So R.I.P. Fisker. Also R.I.P. while we're talking about rest in peace here, the Nissan GTR, one of the great sports cars. And I know my brother-in-law, Matt, if he's listening, is probably sad about this, but Nissan is not going to make the GTR anymore. It's going to join, so many other legendary vehicles that are just, they have a certain run, and then they're gone. But the GTR had a nice run. It was a hell of a car to drive. It was the best of I think, the best of Japanese automaking. I think it was, one of those cars that you get into it and it all just clicks, and you get on a nice piece of open road with it, or you get on the track with it, which I was fortunate enough to be able to take it out on the track. And it thrills you. It gives you a feeling inside like, wow, you're driving the best of what this particular manufacturer, what thousands of people have worked on to make it be as good as it could be. And that's exactly what the GTR was for Nissan. So sad to see them go, the GTR go. But listen, Nissan is a troubled company, and they got to go back to learn how to make cars that people want again. It's that simple. They're not having a lot of success lately at making cars that people really want. They make affordable cars. I mean, you could buy a Sentra for, I don't know, $18,000. But, I mean, is it a car that you want? It's a car that when you finish using it is going to be worth anything. So anyway, I'm not going to sit here and ruminate about Nissan all that much, but it's a company that needs to straighten itself out. All right. You notice our third item is about auto insurance. And we've talked about auto insurance on this show a lot. Many of you know that at one time I was actually in the auto insurance business. I was an auto damage appraiser. And of course, an article comes out this morning in the Car Connection, which is one of my favorite websites. And it looks like, according to the LexisNexis, and you remember them, those are the people that were buying the information from General Motors. But according to the LexisNexis U.S. Auto Insurance Trends Report, insurance premiums rose an unprecedented 14% in 2023. 14% in 2023. Now, in 2021, they had a 1% rise and 9% in 2022. I can only imagine what it's going to be in 2024. Why? Well, a couple of different reasons. And it's part of it says that cars are more expensive to repairs. Electric cars are unbelievable. They're whacked out to repair. We've told a story about the Rivian. They got a bump in the back, and it was a $42,000 repair bill because they had to replace the undercarriage of the vehicle from a bump. And why is that? Well, partially it's because there's no used parts around. You can't go buy a used undercarriage for a Rivian. And not many people want, there's this kind of straying away from recycled parts, from used parts, from or parts that are manufactured by somebody other than the original equipment manufacturer. So the car companies know that this is a profit center, and they charge more for the parts. I mean, I've seen instances where a headlight assembly is $1,000. That little seal beam that I used to put in my father's gas station for $3.50. I mean, it was one of the jobs my dad gave me to do. Is I'd go in there and I'd unhook the, screw off the 3 screws, take the ring off, take the seal beam out, plug a new one in, put it back in, screw them back, point it against the wall to make sure it was aimed correctly. $3.50 to replace the seal beam. Thank you very much. Have a good day. Oh, fill it up? All right, that'll be another, let's see, filled it up, that'll be another $6.50. $10, you were out of there. I don't know what that is adjusted for today's inflation. But anyway, now it's unbelievable what parts on cars cost, and that is a part of it. Bodily injury severity has increased 20% since 2020. Rising cost of medical. You get into a car accident, you take a trip to the emergency room, you're talking $2,000, $3,000, $4,000. So the insurance company, insurance company is a business. It's not a nonprofit organization. And as we talked about with people driving faster, people speeding, the faster you hit something, the worse your injury is going to be, number one. And number two, the worse the damage is going to be to the car. And again, insurance companies now get into a position where they would rather total out a car than repair it. You get into an accident and the insurance company is looking to total the car out because they don't want to get in a situation where they're either liable for some of the, some kind of damage that was done to the car that wasn't fixed correctly by the body shop. And of course, lawyers today go and they try to sue everybody. So if the insurance company pays for the repair, naturally, they're going to try to sue the insurance company too. It's only natural. It's only, the feeding chain. You got deep pockets. You got somebody to go after. You're going to go after them. And the insurance company gets a hit with enough of those kinds of claims. Also, going back to the injuries for a second, this is going to be kind of morbid, but I believe it to be true. We are in a situation now where cars are safer. People generally escape accidents without getting killed in up to a certain speed, up to a certain point, because of airbags, because of crush zones, because of detection systems, and all different kinds of things that are built into a car. But there's two things about that. Number one, people still get injured in those accidents. And the insurance company generally has to pay for those injuries. Number two, the equipment that's in those cars to help prevent those accidents, the airbags, the LiDAR, the sonar, the different materials that you have that help prevent those accidents or help mitigate the damage in those accidents is expensive stuff. Again, a front bumper for a car, $2,000. A cover that used to cost $120. So, yes, cars are more expensive. Insurance has gone up. The number of claims resulting in a vehicle being declared a total loss increased 29%. 1/3 of all cars that get involved in insurance claims are being totaled. Now, why is the car totaled? Again, the insurance company would rather total the car and pay you off and let you go get another new car and then go sell that car at auction for parts or for rebuild or whatever, than for you to take it to a body shop and have the car fixed. Because it's not just the cost, it's the release of the liability on that car. The factors that they use have not changed much. Traffic offenses like speeding tickets and DUIs are going to make your premiums go up. Teen drivers are still more expensive to insure than older drivers. I mean, my nephew is going to get his driver's license here in a not too distant future. I think his parents are in for some sticker shock, and what their insurance goes up. EVs also are costing more to insure. EVs have a 17% higher claim frequency and 34% higher claim severity versus other vehicles. And there's not enough EVs because the risk pool isn't big enough with the risk pool is the total number of EVs, to say, okay, this guy's driving a Tesla. These 20 people are driving a Tesla, this is how insurance works. These 20 people are driving a Tesla. And so the 21st guy racks up his Tesla. Well, the other 20 people contribute to paying for the repair of the 21st guy's Tesla. It's how insurance works. Plain and simple. So, higher insurance premiums. Let's see. The average annual cost of a car insurance policy right now, $2,068, according to U.S. News and World Report. I am sure that it costs more here. In 2022, it was $1,633. 2023, it went up to 2019, and that's from the U.S. News and World Report. Same place our good friend John Vincent works. So, what do you do about it? I don't know that there's anything you can do about it. Oh, by the way, the insurance companies are making record profits. So don't give me the whole, it's inflation, it's this. It's not just inflation. We're in a period in this country where people are trying to make as much money as they can off of everything they can. Everything that was free is no longer free. You think I'm kidding you? 10 years ago, this is right here in Seattle. 10 years ago, I could call up Pagliacci Pizza and order a pizza, a bottle of Coke, and they'd send it over, and there was no charge for the delivery. It said free delivery. Now I call for Pagliacci Pizza, and I'm not singling out Pagliacci here. Now, if you want anything delivered to your house from anywhere, it costs. think Pagliacci charges $7-8 to deliver a pizza now. I mean, you get a pizza, a salad, and a bottle of Coke, and we're looking at, $50. If you go to cheap way with Domino's, you're going 30. So it's not just, you hear it all the time. Well, President Biden this and the Congress. No, it's different. So when you open up your car insurance bill and you see that, that's a problem, isn't it? Yeah, sure is. All right. What is the most American-made car brand? It's an annual survey that comes out. We always see it every year. We argue more now than ever. What's an American car? What's a foreign car? Is a foreign car is a foreign car a foreign car if the car is made here, but the profits go to a company that's not an American company? The leader of American-made cars is Tesla. 100% of its cars, U.S. sales, come from cars that were built in America. Now, the entire car isn't made in America. Many of the parts are not made in America. But the Tesla Model Y is made in Fremont, California, and that's the number one. Number two is the Honda Passport, made in the new Motor City, the South. That's made in Lincoln, Alabama. As a matter of fact, 2, 6, 5, and 6 are Hondas, and they're all made in Alabama. The Honda Odyssey, the Honda Ridgeline, and the Honda Passport are all made in Alabama. They have 3 out of the top 10. The third most American-made car is the Volkswagen ID4. Let's see. The fourth is the Tesla Model S, the Tesla Model X, all American-made cars. The Jeep Gladiator is made in Toledo, Ohio. The Lexus TX is made in Indiana. The Toyota Camry in Georgetown, Kentucky. What's interestingly missing from this list is the Corvette, which usually is the most American-made car. I'm very interested in seeing why the Corvette isn't on the list. Now, the methodology that Cars.com uses for this and it's interesting too because, again, for years and years, Corvette was at the top of the list. But I think they're probably talking about more mass because there doesn't seem to be an American car on this list. So I'm looking at the methodology. It's interesting here. There's more to this methodology, but Corvette usually comes in at the top of these lists. Now, one thing that is interesting to me in looking at this. All right, the AMI analyzes more than 400 new cars on sale, 2024 models, based on Cars.com new car inventory and an in-person order to nationwide dealers. The index does not factor in sales volume. The Ford F-150 is the best-selling vehicle in America. And it's just interesting to me, and I'm going to have to check into this a little bit further, why the Corvette is not on the list, because the Corvette is 100% made in Bowling Green, Kentucky. So we'll have to check that out a little bit more. But those are cars that one thing that this survey does show is that Detroit is no longer the capital of making cars. The South has certainly risen when it comes to making cars, as they are home to the most American-made cars. Again, when and again, you have to factor in different things, but the American-made, so everybody's assembling cars in lots of different places. So you really do have to listen. The bottom line is the car business now is an international business, and it's going to get more international pretty quickly here. You're going to get shocked at how international the car business is when the Chinese come with their cars. And I know they say they're going to put tariffs on them. I'll believe that when I see it. By the way, you do know that, and I just wanted to, as a point of information, you do know that tariffs on cars, you pay the tariff. It's a tax on the car that you pay, not the manufacturer. The manufacturer doesn't like it because it stifles their sales. If you have to buy if you have to pay $1,000 more for a BYD than you do for a Chevy, chances are you're going to buy the Chevy, right? Unless there's something so compelling about the BYD, which is one of Chinese big brands. The thing with the Chinese is because they are run by the government of China for the most part, or get major subsidies from the government of China, they can drop their prices so that you don't care what the tax is. You can put a 50% tax on a car, but a BYD and the Chinese government say, we want to sell these cars in America. We want to dump them. Just like steel. Not a lot you can do about it, except, you can accuse them of dumping. But as I think we have found out, I don't know that the Chinese give a good damn at all what you accuse them of when it comes to industry. They'll tell you, but they're dumping steel or stealing technology. I mean, it's what they do. It's just the way they operated business. Anyway. All right, let's get on to better things. Once we're talking cars. Anyway, Good article there by the folks at Call Connection. We thank them for that. Let's see what Yo Vinnie has in store for us this week. Ah, yes, Yo Vinnie, what are you driving? I apologize. I didn't get to the backup music and stuff like that because I've been injured this week. I fell earlier in the week and didn't have a chance to. I couldn't use the keyboard for a lot of the week. So, anyway, I am driving this week a car that I am quickly falling in love with. It's a Land Rover Defender. Land Rover Defender Country Edition, and this is just an incredible vehicle. I mean, Land Rover consistently. I mean, you can have your beef with their reliability, their electric systems, their this and that and the other thing. You can beef with that all you want, but you can't beef that a Land Rover isn't going to get you anywhere you want to go. And this particular vehicle, a Defender, is not their most expensive vehicle. I mean, I think the sticker on this is about $67,000, somewhere in that neighborhood. Yeah, $67,900, $68,000. But it's got three really cool things going for it. Number one, it looks cool. It just looks, I mean, look at this thing. It's a very cool looking machine. It looks different than most everything else out there. It is, a vehicle that people look at and they notice and they think it's cool. You see that guy walking by there? He was looking at it. In this blue, black, and white configuration, it's an extremely attractive vehicle. It's something that you're driving something a little different than everybody else. And by now, I love that kind of stuff. It is comfortable inside. It's a little tight on room. I mean, there's a few different configurations on this thing. They make a 3-row, they make a 2-door, and they make the 4-door like I'm driving. I think this is the 110, if I'm not mistaken, the 110S. But the front seats are very comfortable. The interior is very, very luxurious, and it cocoons you in it. And really a dynamite little ride. I'm excited to take it up to. I'm going to do the Mountain Loop Road with it probably tomorrow, if my my shoulder and side can stand it. I'm going to get up to the Mountain Loop and I'm going to take that, and that's kind of my top tough test track, and take it through there and see what it can do. But I can tell you from our mud fests that these cars are unbelievable. That they go, they're close to the best, if not the best, for serious off-roading. And it's interesting. It's $67,000 sticker price. It's not a bad deal, especially with the off-road pack, with the air suspension pack, where you can move it up and down. Again, crazy expensive to repair. But as far as a vehicle that you look at and you go, man, that's something that's stylish and something that'll get me up to the top of almost any mountain I want to go, over hill and over dale, the grandmother's house we go. And this one, as a matter of fact, has the advanced off-road capability pack, which means that it has adjustments for different things you got to go over. And if I'm going up through the woods in a $100,000 vehicle, maybe I'm thinking about where I'm going. Maybe a $67,000 vehicle, $68,000 vehicle, I'm willing to take a few more chances. You know what I mean? What the heck? Anyway, so that's what I'm driving this week. The Land Rover Defender 110S. You go on YouTube and you can see some more video of it. We'll get it posted up there. But really enjoying my time in this vehicle. Really having a lot of fun in it. All right. All right, let's get to our Belltown guy, because this is one of the things that I wanted to spend a couple of minutes on this morning. The Belltown Hellcat. Can anybody explain to me how this guy is getting away with what he's getting away with? Is there anybody out there in God's good name who can say to me that this dude can get away with what he's doing? Now, for you and me and everybody who's listening to the show, you may not know about the Belltown Hellcat. So let me tell you about him. This guy owns a Dodge Charger Hellcat, which I've driven before. It's a guy who is the worst of society. Is the worst that we have to offer in our world today. He drives this car, and he's racked up 750,000 Instagram followers as the Belltown Hellcat. And what he does is he takes his car and he does all sorts, it's a loud car. I don't know if you ever heard of Hellcat, but you can hear it coming a block away. And every night, I don't know if he says every night, but many nights, he comes home and he violates the city noise rules, not just by normal people would do, because that wouldn't play on Instagram. In our society of assholes that we have today, this guy revs his engine up and he's doing circles and he's drifting here and drifting there and generally creating a nuisance for himself. He thinks that, and his 750,000 followers on Instagram think that it's funny that he comes home at whatever hour of the morning it is. And by the way, this isn't just a stock Hellcat. He's worked to make this thing louder. So anyway, people started complaining. He wears a mask and sunglasses so that you can't see who he is. The city attorney says that, what can we do? We fine him. He's got $83,000 in fines, but there's not much we can really do. I don't know, for the life of me, I can't understand why they can't impound the car. But again, this is a guy that roars through the city at night with tailpipes that rattle the windows, that wake people up on purpose. This is a guy that remote started his car while he was sitting up in his apartment so that he would bust all his neighbors' balls. He lives down in the Belltown neighborhood. He's been charged with reckless driving. He's got another hearing, I guess, coming up on Tuesday. His mother shields him. She's part owner, or not, if not full owner, of the car. This is a guy, according to police documents, got pissed off when his mother was late to pick him up from a haircut. When they returned home, I guess allegedly knocked over a dresser of hers and pounded a hole in the back of it. Real nice guy. Real nice guy. This is a guy that just doesn't give a crap about anybody else. This is the kind of guy that gives car owners, people that love their cars, people that responsibly use their cars, a bad name. And all for what? So it can become notorious on Instagram? I mean, what kind of person does this? I sound like my aunt now. What kind of person does this kind of thing? What kind of person? I mean, I can understand, again, you go out down to Georgetown, you get out by the airport, you crank your car up and you rev it up. The cops have even said, go take it to a track. Go take it down Pacific Raceways. Take it out to Bremerton. Why do you got to do it at 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock in the morning when people are sleeping? In Belltown, where it, with all the tall buildings down there, it must sound like thunder, like gunfire. I don't know why they can't do anything more to this guy. But you just think to yourself, what's going to stop it? How can one person get away with this? How can one person give people such a bad name? And it's really, I don't know. I get embarrassed if I have a loud car for the week that I drive. I get embarrassed if I come home at night and it's a little too loud. I even when I was a kid and I had the loudest car on the block, man, when I used to come down a block, I used to turn it off, coast down the block so people wouldn't hear me. I didn't want to piss off my neighbors. People had a way of taking care of those kinds of things. You come out and find 4 flats in your car. Back then. I feel sorry for the people down there. Most of all, I feel sorry for us. I feel sorry for people that take something that's supposed to be good, supposed to give people enjoyment, and turn it into a weapon against them. Not a good look, dude. Not a good look at all. Not that you care what I say. I mean, it's obvious that you don't care about anybody. Not even your moms. But I just I don't know what the city's going to do about this guy. And I don't know why they haven't taken action and gone in front of a court and tried to impound his car. It's amazing to me that somebody in this day and age gets away with that. But welcome to Seattle, right? I wonder if any others. I know that they wouldn't get away with it in New York. And remember, we talked about this a couple of years ago. Remember that New York came up with a law about your car, that if your car was too loud. I mean, there's always been noise laws about cars with no mufflers, with this, with that. But New York actually came up with a law that said if you can hear your exhaust, if you can hear your car over a certain distance, that I think they could impound the car. I guess sometimes they just know how to do things better in New York when it comes to this kind of stuff. I hope it gets resolved. I hope for the sake of the people that live in Belltown that this thing gets resolved, because it's really sickening and sad that people have to live with something like this. All right. As I said before, I am lucky enough in my life, in my almost 70 years of being on this planet, that I have been able to, there are times in my life where things I love intersect with each other. Baseball, cars, nature, just different things. I always find it to be just a beautiful place in life. Now, earlier this week, we lost Willie Mays. And he was one of my baseball heroes when I was growing up. He was, I still remember going to Shea Stadium when the Giants would come to town. And they had only been gone out of New York a few years. They left in 57. You know, Mays would come back with the Giants to Shea Stadium back in 64, 65, 66. I used to go to the game, 67. He'd come back, and it would be like a Willie Mays party. Giant fans would show up, and it was there was a certain sophistication about Willie. In an unsophisticated person, the way he played the game, the way he went out to center field, the way people in New York loved him. You know, the average New York people loved the Dodgers. The Giants were like kind of the elite team. And the Yankees were the real elite team. But the Giants were the team that people in Manhattan loved. They weren't the people's choice, necessarily. But Willie Mays was able to transcend all of that. Willie Mays was able to make you pay attention. And so I figured, how do I pay tribute to Willie Mays on a car show? Sure enough, a little bit of searching the internet and a little bit of out of the box thinking, and we came up to this little tribute to number 24, a little automotive tribute to the late great Willie Mays.
Hey, you're Willie Mays. Yeah, don't I know you? Could be. Tom Bowles. Umpire, right? No, Empire. Empire Ford Mount Vernon. Oh, yeah? What is Empire done selling Fords? I don't sell Fords. Empire's low prices do. If you slice those prices like you slice that ball, man, you're going to have some great deals. With prices like this, Empire Ford is all right. That's Empire Ford in Mount Vernon. Hey, Mr. B, I have nothing against umpires.
Hi, I'm Willie Mays. Here's the kind of cup you should get in your next car. A 5-foot wide spread like this. You know, you can even get a split seat that is adjustable, especially for you. With a passenger seat that reclines, a back seat big enough for 3 adults, or your entire outfield. Inside, everyone enjoys Chrysler's new Toshin Quiet Ride. Take it from me, Willie Mays. Any car that handles this good, with this kind of quiet, it's got to be the best thing going. Man, that's my car. And it could be your next car. The 1970 Chrysler with Toshin Quiet Ride.
Candlestick on a September afternoon in 1963.
People say they don't believe you can actually swing for a homer or not swing for a homer, but I think you can. I can swing for a home run, but actually I don't. If I would swing for a home run every time I go to the bat, I don't think I would connect often than I do without worrying about hitting a home run, because then I find myself swinging too hard, and a lot of times I don't even meet the ball solid. I have found out that sometimes I'm strong enough, if I hit the ball solid, it'll go out most every part of the field. Meet the ball. Yeah, just hit the ball solid. That's all I want to have in my mind. Hit the ball good. Well, you hit 2 or 3 of your longest in St. Louis. In St. Louis, yeah. The ball goes very good. Hit one off of Maholsky up on top of the light tower back. Maholsky, that's right. I hit the scoreboard a couple of times. Yeah. I hit the scoreboard the last trip we was in there, too. You hit the light out of a Dodgers sign one time. Yeah. I remember. Is it true that a ball club like the Dodgers, say, always brings out an extra competitiveness or something like that in the Giants? They're such old, rivals. Well, I play the same all the time. Whether we play the Dodgers or play anybody, I never, try to save anything just because we're playing one club or another. I don't believe in that too much. I try to just play my same brand of ball every day.
Hi, I'm Willie Mays. I played on some great teams and with some great players. And to be a winner, it takes teamwork. That's why I'm going to bat for the Empire 14 in Mount Vernon, Westchester's #1 Ford dealer, because they come to bat for you with great buys on new Ford cars, trucks, quality used cars, and great service, too. Take it from me. Get a home run deal from Mr. B and his great Empire 14, where the customer is #1. Christmas is a time.
There you go. A little automotive tribute to Willie Mays. Passed away earlier this week. By the way, if you get a chance, go take a look at the the game that they played at Rickwood Field down in Alabama. Go look at Reggie Jackson's pregame interview. Spend a minute looking at that, and just do that. Spend a minute looking at it and seeing what life was like for so many people down in so many Negro League ball players, of which Willie Mays was one. All right, that's gonna put it in the books for this week. We will join you. I'll see you on Monday with, of course, our my good friend Michael Knight at 10:10 on Monday morning. And again, I apologize for a little bit of a short show today, but I'm just I'm just not in good shape today. Anyway. But thank you for listening. Thank you for bearing with me. I didn't want to just. I considered not doing the show today, and I just didn't want to leave it hanging. So I tried to be a trooper for you. I hope I entertained you and informed you a little bit about cars and about about life. And we'll have our review of the. What did I have list? We'll have our regular reviews and stuff for you next week. So if you see me out there cruising around in that beautiful Land Rover, give me a wave or stop and say hi. And of course, if you want to get in touch with me, you can always get a hold of me right here on the internet and on my email, which is Vinnie at drivetime-radio.com. Vinnie at drivetime-radio.com. Have a good weekend. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Be safe out there, and be nice to each other if you can at all possibly do it, because what the world needs now is nice, sweet, nice. See you on Monday if the Lord's will and the creek don't rise. Peace, love, and Manischewitz. Have a good week, rest of your week, and enjoy the first weekend of summer. Bye-bye now. And thank you for listening.